Sweet.
My answer again is tried. They
All right, I just started recording. Hello, I'm limitlessmatrix or Jeremy. You can call me either one. So I pulled up on the Discord under voice text channel. I put a bunch of like files and stuff. If you want to download that, it's just like some 3D printable cases and things like that. Some extras, notes as well for the class. So what we're going to be covering today is just this little LoRa Meshtastic. This version is the LoRa 32 Heltec V3. I designed this with the solar panel, and I'm going to be designing a 3D printable case as well. That'll probably be done next week just because I didn't have the solar panel with me. But let's go here. And then, where is it? That's just the extras. Okay. So this is how we're kind of gonna set it up. This is just hardware wise. The solar panels that these came with are 3 volt, so they're gonna go on this side, right? And then if you have a 5 volt solar panel, you just basically solder it on that side. I'm gonna pass this around so you can, like if you don't have one, you can play with it. While I set this one up, which I need some cables.
Does it need to go into both pin 2 and 3, or just one of them?
Yeah, it would be positive and negative. So.
No, I mean for just the
because
positive.
I think it's for the actual.
Does it need? It just needs to go into one of the 2 pins.
Signal.
Just the 2, yeah. Right. And then ground.
I don't know what the antenna is.
I got one of these because I wanted to use a cold board driving or whatever. I got
Okay.
a bunch of components.
Does it matter if you swap the grounds? So we'll use the ground on the 5 side and use the 3.3 on the other?
I'm not too sure on that. I would just use one side because I think the power management system is like on either side of the board, like right there, or on the back of the board right here. I think these ones right there. So we're gonna start by flashing this thing, a little chipset, right? Just connect it to your computer or laptop, and then we're gonna go to. I'm just gonna use the web client because it's what's easiest. So go to meshtastic.org. Get started, and then we're gonna do. So this version is the Heltec V3 wireless stick light, right?
There's my keyboard mat the same way I would mine.
So is this the same ESP32 board that like would go on a flipper for the Wi-Fi, the dev board? Or is that
I'm
just
not
the
too
chips?
sure. I think it's just the chipset. But it does have Wi-Fi. You can send emails with this. It's pretty versatile. Let's see if this connects. You also want to make sure that the antenna is connected, just because some of these models will freak out if it's not.
What's the range for some of these?
Depends on your antenna, but you can get like over 10 miles. And it also depends on how high you set up your antenna.
I was going to ask if like metropolitan city versus open landscape makes a difference, or what? What kind of frequency, I guess, is it really?
So this one's like in the 900s, 922, something like that. Let's see. Posting it yourself. This is not being kind right now. Sorry.
No love.
Going too fast.
Lower error program, maybe. Oh, let me make sure everything here is turned on. Okay, so I'm just trying to get the chipset to be recognized by my computer. I might have to download the drivers first, but we'll see.
What files are in the Discord?
Those are just like extras.
Oh, cool.
Some notes as well. This kind of thing where it's like it's showing you how to set it up,
Ah, it's just a bunch of...
like blueprint stuff, yeah. Okay. Why does it want to connect?
So what's the deal with the bit about the private keys? Like, do you do the full erase and install it?
Yeah, the last time I did it, I went through Serial and used that, but for whatever reason, it's having some issues. Upgrade tool, maybe. Plug-in device, done. Oh, sorry, they don't like Firefox apparently.
Oh,
I got
forget.
that a lot today.
I forget that
I
Chrome.
got a lot. We don't
Because I don't have Chrome.
Chromium.
Isn't what is it, Explorer and Edge also?
Have you tried it?
Is it? Maybe that's like built on. I don't even know what computer that is.
But the kit I set up comes with like a 3,000 milli hour. Yeah, I don't like supporting Google that much, so.
Why?
What since they stopped being like, what was it? After they said that
Yeah, all the big incentives. So.
Is it a privacy?
no longer evil,
Oh.
like don't be evil, that kind of thing. Nope.
Forced it. Forced it.
Firefox profile?
Yeah, or not signing into accounts at all, or just having
See no evil, do no evil.
separate cookie jars up at the same time. Especially when doing
See
work.
so many nodes in the air.
If you have that hack, I thought it was something personal.
I'm able to see other ones in the air because they have their own GPS listed.
Oh my gosh! You can stalk someone like this, right?
If they give out their proper GPS.
What
What is it? So honestly, if you're gonna have your own, just put a GPS for the Great Salt Lake.
I've got 3 stalkers already.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I gotta like figure out how to like not show up on
Change the
there.
GPS to the middle of this thing.
Yeah.
I've seen a few lakes.
Let's see if Coast Guard or
check.
that's a lake. I don't think
I
Coast Guard's
think
good.
it is there.
You could see.
Right now I'm just
Because whenever I
downloading the drivers and trying to get everything working.
And also some of them do spoof. Like when I went to Vegas, there was a bunch, but then there was like 2 in Texas. I'm like, but we're not in Texas.
Whoa.
So they definitely spoof their like either house address or some home
I'm
address.
honestly
I love
thinking of
that.
just.
Yeah, I'm gonna do what
I'm
you said.
thinking
I'm
of
gonna
just
go in the
dipping
middle of
into
the ocean, in the middle of the lake.
Talk entirely, I gotta.
Confuse some
thing I
people.
Gotta do.
I think I know where I remember this. This guy set something like this up. It's pretty much like a pager. But what is this?
You're leaving not.
It's device to device.
Okay.
No, but
He
because
kind of made a little
haven't
pager
learned
that was
anything and I wanna do
Meshtastic
my
network.
homework.
So he could, he and his wife could like page each other, and he made it into like a, you know like how this is like this, it had like a 3D printed llama thingy for it. It was so cute. And I think that's why it's like stuck at the back of my subconscious, and I'm like, I think I know what that is. Pretty cool. What are you on? Like,
This app is Meshtastic.
There you go.
Specifically for this work.
oh my gosh, this is wow, this is a big thing. I thought we were doing something like indie or whatever, but no, this is.
It's business. It's really something. I think because the cost and just the open
Yeah.
source of it.
The one of the most important use cases for me is like in case like all the cell towers go out, or you know like the government doesn't work, you can still talk to your friends and family.
Yeah.
And that's a lot, like that's huge because I think T-Mobile just got a huge issue within the last week where they weren't, like you can't communicate with anyone,
They were down
which,
for like almost 3 hours.
yeah, which is insane.
Internet and cell
Mhm.
services.
Yeah.
So, and you can also send emails with these. So they do have like Wi-Fi capabilities and stuff like that. I wouldn't, you know, use it for internet just because it's really low bandwidth, but you can send generic emails. You might be able to send some pictures to each other, although that would take a long time. You could still set up something like that.
That's awesome.
LoRa mode. That's it. I think it's flashed. It looks flashed. LoRa mode 0.
LCD, right?
The screen?
Yeah.
it's OLED.
Yeah, it's OLED.
There was a bunch of resources in the Discord.
Yes.
Where
It's under voice text.
Why do we have
And there's a 7 zip file or a zip file.
We have like a 801 Labs like channel.
Yes, I can share the 801 channel with all of you. I already I have it on my phone.
Also the screen.
And you can also, if you haven't already, I would download the Meshtastic app on your phone. That way you can, connect your phone to it as well.
For the actual long range.
It does use Bluetooth.
We could
So
like
that's fair.
throw in the Discord to be able to
So
scan.
you've got 3.
Yeah, I can probably do that.
When I went, because when I went these, it was like a package. It was like get 4 for the price. You get 4 for slightly cheaper. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. I was going to like, that was my second DEF CON. I'm like, oh, I really want to impress people.
Yeah, I get that.
And then these are the newer ones. I only got 2 of these. I calmed down, but I got 4 of these. But now they're all like old. I can't flash so I have to flash them manually.
Is that what you're using? You just
Okay.
No, this is just a Wi-Fi.
I started doing that with laptops. So it's like, if anything, like if I have too many and I can't use some of the parts for something else, I'll just sell it.
Nice.
And I tried that.
Pull it out,
now I
they're like,
have
oh, you're gonna steal my credit card.
So I tried doing that. And it,
yeah.
like
But
the
open your
cost
garage.
of each
Yeah,
one
if I
now
wanted
is
to
like
do your credit card.
Sorry, I'm looking for voice text.
I'm like,
I'm bigger
no,
than you.
maybe I should stop collecting laptops. But I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
so
of-
You got burner laptops for
Exactly.
I've got those.
Exactly.
Which is
I had one at St. Thomas.
So I just shared the QR code on the voice text Discord. So you can use that to join the DC801 channel. I'm having issues with this, with flashing it.
Issues with what?
Well, this is important.
Flashing it.
Oh, you're using the online web flasher?
Yeah.
What device is it?
Heltec.
Tech. Okay. What issue is it trying to?
This is the thing I haven't figured out yet.
Okay. Did navigate to the LoRa menu. I don't see a LoRa menu.
I think voice text.
It's already done.
Right. I just don't remember where the key.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you go through there. Yeah, I do all the config and the command line, but that works too.
Any good ones?
Yeah, I don't remember how to set this up. Sorry.
It's okay. What are we trying to do? You want to get on the US, so set the region code to
Voice
US.
channels. I will do.
Okay.
Then the max number of hops, let's go 7.
Did
7.
not save.
Channel number, gonna be honest with you, 51's what we have in the valley, and we have routers up on the mountains that do it, so 51's good.
It does put your
Let's go to the client type. Use modem
Where's that?
preset right there. Use one of the predefined, so there's a switch, you gotta switch up top.
Because I did this. I did something
Yep.
wrong.
Alright, that's already defined. The next thing you need to do is define the type of client you're on. So you're gonna
Where's
wanna
that?
enable your transmission first.
It deleted all the channels.
Yep, transmit power 30, we'll use whatever is maximum for the area. Boosted RX gain only applies if you have an SX1262, so check your device specs first.
I don't know what that is.
It's the radio attached to the Heltec's ARM chip. So, what kind of radio are you using?
It just came with it.
The specs will be online. Like,
Nice.
just leave that off for now, because it won't. It'll just lock up the device if it's wrong. Go down.
That's
Do
as
you have
far
to
as it
save it or
goes.
send it? Nope. All right, go to device now.
Save.
Yep, save. And once it's saved, go up to the device part of the menu in the config.
So I
It's at the top.
contacted this device through Bluetooth, and this guy
Yeah.
probably talked to that big one over there.
Role
That's
needs to
really
be.
close. And then
You're
that's
just setting this up to
connected.
talk
I
to
don't know who's
people
connected to
in
that.
here.
Yeah.
Client is probably enough, but client mute is probably better. I'll
That's a big
explain that to
intent, so.
people if you
Go on the
want.
roof.
Okay.
You don't need to worry about that.
Do you get a lot of snow?
Rebroadcast mode, go ahead and click all
It's only a year.
for now.
Oh, you're not from Utah? Oh my gosh, it's garbage.
That all
Okay.
looks
Depends
pretty
on where you're
good.
at,
Save.
Because flying in, I saw
Check
the
that your
snow on the
lower
mountains, I'm
settings
like, I
too,
get it, it's
on the
mountains,
other menu.
whatever.
So
Then I
go
get
from
down here,
device
it's
to
like,
lower.
Chris, it's gonna be a lot of snow around.
It does look like that's not taking.
Some years it is. It's weird.
Are you running on? You're running on
One
Yeah.
theory that I have is that if you're driving
It
on the
just- it
freeway
says
and you
Laura
see all those
error.
yellow flowers during the summer,
What?
then it's going to be a snowy winter. And it
Really?
hasn't proved to be wrong yet.
I mean, worst case,
There was not that
we can
many
just connect to
years
mine
ago.
over
So
the
the
Ethernet
weather
connection that's already
is
connected.
really accurate. So like
Low
in
rat
California, if I
error.
was checking it, I was like, eh. But the weather here is really accurate. The good thing is, well, not really a good thing, but most often it's like more of a slush than actual snow. So we get more rain than actual snow. But I'm from California, so over there.
Have you done the web flasher
So when I
already
got
for the
here,
SP
I didn't
device?
notice
I tried.
and I figured out I have to get one quickly.
Like I downloaded the
Yeah.
drivers.
So the weird thing, Utah's really weird.
Oh.
Really weird. The other thing that I would
Is
say
this
is
on
like
Chrome? Yeah,
last
this is
year
Chrome.
in I think May it snowed.
Connect and
I think it was April or
configure.
May. It was
Are all these guys running
But
Linux?
yeah, it snowed very heavily. And
I'm
it's
not
sad.
sure.
But if you check
Are you guys on mostly Linux?
I can totally introduce it without
This
demonstrating
was pretty hot too.
what settings they need to do. Because it might be that there's an error we need to access directly on the device through serial. So if you have the serial terminal, you totally do.
Won't have to clear any snow.
That's the only way we're going to get it.
Wait, what do you mean?
So you've installed the driver for it, but you probably didn't need to do anything else on the device?
No, I didn't last
It's
time.
water safe.
Yeah. So go ahead and configure the file. So go ahead and connect and configure the device. Web client works, but Python might be irreparable.
Let me try Python.
You got Python on the system?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all you need to do is pip install that jazz.
Let's take a picture. This is a piece of history that I did.
And then I went to Florida State.
Yeah, so you'll just have to, so if you have pip,
Mountain Dew.
so open the Python terminal.
If we're running a workshop like this,
We'll just do it through the command line, it'll be
Yeah.
easier.
So where are
Plus
you
we'll get
from?
that.
close to
It's
Boston.
Anaconda. We'll see
Okay,
if
and
it
then
works.
can I ask why you're traveling to Utah?
I'm visiting a friend.
Oh, okay.
All right,
For the week I'm
Python.
going up to Idaho Falls for a
Pip.
workshop.
Okay,
Install
because there's
Meshtastic.
a East conference happening tomorrow.
I just heard about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
can't
so
open
I'm gonna
pip.
be driving up there tomorrow with them.
Go ahead and remove the Python from ahead of it.
Slushies and snacks and then
Probably wasn't called which cities? It's town.
Cedar City,
That's so weird.
east side
There
of
you
Red
go.
Rocks. I'm gonna just finish an audiobook on the way, because it's gonna be a long drive.
Yeah, that drive sucks.
Did not run successfully. You cannot
I'm
execute
just
that.
glad,
Set it
knock
to
on
is
wood,
not
knock on wood,
available.
I'm
So we
glad
need
that
that
there's no snow forecast.
Yeah.
I even checked that area as well.
where they live there, they visit there.
You still get tickets?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you can even get a, so I got, like, I would say the tickets were really good, and I've never been to that one, so I figured, you know, I'll go, whatever, just for
I've
that
never
time.
used it in condos.
But
Oh, yeah.
apparently not much happens there. The actual like big B-sides meeting is gonna be, not the meeting, the conference is gonna be in Salt Lake City in April.
Sweet.
You might wanna
Worked
come to
great.
that one,
go there every summer when I was
if you're into that.
I mean, I
Yeah.
guess maybe to visit my friend too.
Yeah, and I don't even know,
It
like,
says warning,
how
we're
it's
using
gonna
pip
be.
version, however,
So,
whatever, it doesn't matter, we don't need to upgrade that. Go ahead and try to
I really like
close the
it,
terminal,
but I don't know
or no,
what
you're already in
else
it.
to come.
So if there's a way to,
They
like,
have their own personalities.
yeah, we just,
Yeah, they should.
well, not
Can I still
TTY
get tickets
USB,
for
whatever its serial port is
Yeah.
on Windows, so COM,
$20?
whatever.
Because I have family in Cedar City.
And you can
don't know
even do
what that means.
students,
Go to the
like you
device
can do a
menu.
student one and it's gonna be a free ticket. But you're not gonna get goodies, but I don't know what goodies you're gonna get
You're in the
away.
music industry. It's
This is a long.
But yeah, the price is why
Alright,
I'm
you
going.
connected it, so go to
It's more
port to
like
COM and
special.
LVT.
I have family there, so it's like, I should probably go.
It's great to
There
meet
it
some
is,
locals.
that's it, COM 3, so we
I'm
need COM
gonna
3.
head over there at 4 a.m. and I'm
So take that
estimating
command,
it'll be back around
and
8 p.m.
we
or
should be able to
9
do
p.m.
COM 3 and get info off of
It's gonna
it.
be fun.
Are you driving from here?
It's gonna be exciting, yeah.
I don't have a car. I'll see if my friend wants to.
Access denied.
Yeah.
He'll be busy.
Could not open, oh, we need
If
to add
anything, we
them.
can get a group
Oh, you're
like
already
this
here.
circle. I don't mind
Because I'll be
that.
south of here.
Yeah.
You're
I hate Windows too.
Shall I bring my laptop in there?
Yeah, you can. I think the recording is gonna cut off, but it's okay.
No, keep your recording going. And
Okay.
I'll just kind of go over it. I can do it on board.
Sorry, the demo gods are not kind today. Basically, we tried flashing it through the web client, and then I tried using the Python command line, but the Python command line is not working either. So we're gonna just try a different operating system.
Does it have its own
About 3 years ago.
I had a question. Why are there two different solar panels? One was like 3 volts, the other one was 5 volts.
So the ones that these are 3 volts.
Yeah.
The one 5 volts are a little more efficient, so you could use the 5 volt one as well.
Is it one or the other, or are we supposed to use both?
You can use both, but I would just use one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use both because the energy management
Actually, I got a
system.
great idea for you. Let's SSH into this client. It's hooked up.
Okay. Yeah, like I can ask it later as well, but I'm new to hardware. My true strength is like, software and stuff, so.
No idea.
Buddy? Hell yeah, you got buddy.
Okay.
No, I guess I started with.
So cool. The one thing that is why I have criminals.
No one leaves.
Small
We get two.
They get caught.
Nobody.
So I'm like,
Okay, I think I didn't have a sense.
Not only
So that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, the obvious one is always this question of
Are you connected to that switch?
yeah, and I'm snacks
I
on
don't.
this
I think I'm
one.
connected to Wi-Fi,
Okay,
not
nice to meet you.
hard
Fix
line.
that quick.
I usually have snacks with me, but I'm gonna bring it back today, so.
There you go. Just plug that in over there. You got Ethernet back here.
Right.
Sweet.
Alright, see you later.
See ya.
and when there's
Alright guys, just a little interlude here, but we're going to show you how to do it over the command line instead of the web interface. It's going to be a little bit more reliable.
I mean, you could detect the device and then probably get a warrant and knock on their door.
Let's make sure you're not
Same
connected
reason
to
why
the
it's
Wi-Fi anymore.
like signals, it's like the FCC will find you.
Really? Okay. Interesting. 'Cause, like,
Alright, your wired
I
connection should
don't
be
know.
in.
I just think about all this stuff. Like every time so I listen
SSH
to like
into this.
coordinate every report. And so every time I listen to that, all I'm thinking
Where's
is
Putty?
why are some people doing it like
Where's
this?
just
And
his-
there's a better way. And one of them was like a non, whatever it was called, like it was
How's your video going?
and it was like a calculator app that was actually where you could access the phone and stuff. That's the funny part to me. It's like if this thing exists, why would criminals what is it, enough?
So this is what it, one kind of looks like.
Oh, you're connected to Proton.
Yeah, I think
Symbols?
I've got that one.
Yeah, I think I'll
How do you? Am I gonna break it?
No.
So I think
Hey, do you have?
Longpass
Yeah,
is
okay,
like
cool.
the-
Disconnected.
It's like a protocol.
Why is it
That's
blinking?
Oh, it's just on.
I think
Oh, okay.
Longpass
Yeah,
is like
it's communicating.
Can I do any LED color? Like
it's
color?
like a way of saying
I'm not sure.
that
On the,
Okay. This is
I'm sure
Usually,
it's
no,
all.
it's usually predefined.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is very cool.
which is like reconfiguration.
You know what? Maybe the what is it? Like the GUI gods or whatever we're calling them. Maybe they don't
Demo
want this.
gods?
Yeah.
Stay here. I'm gonna go get the IP off the server real quick.
Maybe they don't
Okay.
want this to
It's
happen
hooked up.
today because they want everyone to have a kid
Yeah,
and
there you
fill out
go.
the interest form.
That's funny.
This is so cool though.
Yeah, it's. But you know, when it works, it's even cooler.
For sure, for sure. But like, I still love it that you guys are doing this class, you know? And here's
Yeah.
the thing. Everybody knows that when you're trying to demo something, stuff isn't gonna work. Even if you did quality assurance, even if you tested it, it's just weird. But that's just the rule.
Yeah.
When you're recording something, it might not work. So,
Sometimes I have to record things like 3 or 4 times before I get the right thing, but
so I think we all get that.
I just wish it would have worked this time around.
Yeah.
The demo gods.
Yeah. Maybe. What is it?
Really? So it didn't go directly at all?
I got the IP for it.
Okay.
Did you get the web interface on?
I was trying again, but
Your arbitrage, yeah. You literally are, yeah.
And that's actually like what they made it for. Like that's how they got it regulatory.
It's like better to use the command line versus
I wonder if
the
it's
interface.
because, so you scanned it, right, and then I changed my node's name. So maybe that's why it's like showing up
So those
here.
interfaces are nice.
It's like,
I'm okay with
since you scan
people
it,
telling them. I don't understand when people are like, oh, he's working, you can't tell. Because I'm like, if I go drinking, if I go camping, he's still gonna have to be working. So I'm like, he doesn't really have an on or off. Like, he kind of does, but it's more of a behavior thing. Like,
access.
he's got a command that will do whatever he wants. Like,
I know what the password
he
is.
walks
It's just
everywhere, sniffs everyone.
BBM.
But then he's got another mode where I'm like, hey, behave yourself, don't walk up to people. But yeah, like, so if you'd like to patch
How many of you actually did get the kit?
Yeah, definitely help them with instructive.
Is that, I'll help you put it together, if you haven't already, while we try and figure out how to flash it. 'Cause it's
We didn't get
what's that one?
I've just got this.
Okay.
So let's say I had gotten here on time, where would I have bought it from? Like,
yeah, that looks good.
is there like an announcement usually made, or is it like you gotta know and then you just walk in and ask that one person who's selling
Oh,
it?
that is, you don't have to ask the Fed. I don't know.
Oh, okay. It's my first time, so I'm trying.
You can.
No,
It'll
for
take
next
about
time.
3 weeks for us to order it.
That's right,
Just because we sold out this time around. But I can show you.
This one, it's a new one.
Which Heltec do you have? H262 or V3?
So the one
V3,
that I got has like a little,
Go ahead and
you can
flash
see the,
32 V3.
like the spectrum viewer.
Let's see if it comes
See,
through.
that's
I mean, this you can tell. But
should just
like,
use
this
that.
is different just because
Yep.
the Battlefield.
I got this
I just set the high.
So it's cool for me to see it. I think on this one it's,
what we're using.
Same age, so we probably.
I kind of cracked that LED screen.
it's like you can just adjust the different settings.
But the battery attached
So
like a
listen,
What
flash.
if there's some military stuff?
It's a pretty long
So decrypting it is where it gets
something there.
into
And then
chromatography.
the antenna, this isn't a very good antenna.
Everything on the airwaves you can listen
From a
to.
router, but
Transmitting
you want
is where,
like something that
depending on what it's where and why, the FCC might say, okay, we'll
Press and hold the boot and you
the fastest for if you're trying to emulate GPS, because everyone relies on GPS.
So you can emulate GPS with that?
Not with this, no.
Okay.
You can, there's other devices for that.
That is.
It's not like the FCC.
try flasher.
I recently learned
I got it.
where you can like send the right signals to like a door or like
So actually,
whatever.
we're selling it for $20.
This is the one you can, the $30 custom firmware on this one.
Oh, cool.
So this one has a spectrum view.
Yeah, because we're not profit too,
function
so
5.
it's a lot cheaper.
At first and then 5.
Oh.
But I'm more of a face
So you can actually see those screens. $30 for that.
That's not
That's
I
epic.
spent that much money.
This guy's not responding. It's weird. Yeah.
Why
I'm kind of wondering what's going on here, but let's try and put it in bootloader mode. So press and hold the USR button
To transmit on specific frequencies.
while plugging in the cable.
These don't require license. The frequency is
Do me a
very
favor. I'm
open.
gonna press and hold these.
I really want one of these because I think it'll be fun to like transmit something.
I got my
Maybe.
tech.
Maybe. What's going on is we basically can't get it into its.
Oh, that's
base.
connecting now.
Yeah. Well, it's connecting to. It's trying to connect to
How
Wi-Fi.
does that work?
I'm trying to get the serial hooked up. I'm used to the newer devices.
And then I just punched it. And then today I finally put on a power switch right there because it was the only way I could only put it there so it wouldn't interfere with anything else. Just because these cables were and then that's a power light. That's a transmitter light.
Come on.
The antenna. I literally soldered a header pin into the antenna. And then it just uses an ESP32 and a nice hours to do what I need to do. And then did some fancy work. For some reason the code's not working right. It only plays Rick Astley. Because I have too much time on my Rick Roll. It only plays that for some reason. I haven't figured it out. That's next. Probably on Tuesday. We'll fix that.
While plugging in the USB. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah. As long as you use it within the confines of the space from my understanding.
Here you are, right?
Yeah.
So you're just transmitting Rick roll?
Unfortunately, I don't know why.
What? It's not unfortunate.
Wait, what? Do you know frequency? It transmits sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you what.
I actually programmed it 145.
I'm gonna get everybody on this page,
146.5.
and hopefully they might have some better luck. Or do they all have this type of device?
Most of them did, but
Oh, do you want me to turn it on?
I haven't worked with the health
theory
ones.
now.
I have a
The hardware's not here.
So let me go ahead and SSH into my node then,
This is a hacker app.
so that we don't totally give them nothing to go off of.
Yeah, it's really
Where's
nice.
my
It's about 150 on it.
Was there?
AliExpress, which is really good compared to the one at your warehouse. That's nice for like $600.
Really?
South Florida's New York. Sound kind of.
So.
Sorry, it's not working out for
It's
you.
already set to 146.5.
What is all that?
Neither of us really.
That's just the static. Nothing's playing. But
I don't think anything works. I don't think they have. I think it's just all family. It's all like family money, and nobody really actually works. So everyone's just kind of lazy. They don't take anything too serious.
Cool, we're in. Right.
Oh my gosh, this is epic.
so yeah, it's to teach people how to do directional radio finding.
My sister and I were always
Once it's made, I'm gonna duct tape it and make it.
My node sees some devices. I'll just kind of talk about the channels and all that jazz. We'll see if we can have better luck.
We're gonna get into hardware stuff.
Yeah, because like.
All right, folks. Who's all here to set up a Meshtastic device? Woo! Okay, cool. So there is a website that you can go to, and it's not the one that was up earlier. We're going to see if one of you has a little bit better luck. Go ahead and go to flasher.meshtastic.org on your computers. If you've already got it set up.
Flasher?
Yeah, flasher.meshtastic.org. You guys don't mind about races? Evidently not.
Oh, not that far.
My pointers.
But yeah, I think my. Just cheap out thing.
So where is everybody in the state of building?
We haven't got ours yet.
You haven't got yours
No,
yet?
so I'm playing around with it. Theory, we're all category.
But yeah,
So you want to hear theory?
very unprepared.
Cool. I can definitely cover theory. As to whether I could actually get it to flash, I'm going to be honest, I have a bias against the health tech devices. They're not very good for that.
This one does the brains.
They can be a little bit buggy.
What kind of device? What device do you prefer?
So there are several devices out there. You've got S3 based cores just like the health
Yeah, I
tech,
just followed it.
but the T-beams are a lot better. You're able to actually flash them without having to deal with all the serial drivers and nonsense. Because they're already built
Your
in
radio
Windows.
shack?
If you want a lower power device that doesn't use as much power when it's operating up there, like you want a slower power node,
Yeah.
you want one of the rack 4361s because they're NRF52 based devices. And those use the least power.
Do you still get the kind of range?
You do. It's not. We're not talking about transmit power. We're talking about power on the microcontroller core. So it actually sucks a lot less juice, and you're able to actually power that with solar. As far as I would say the most complete setup you could possibly buy is probably from Rack. Rack just makes all-in-one units. They also make ones that you can just buy and they're already made if you're not into that part. But if you're really into the maker part of it, you can do it just as much with buying the baseboard and the supporting elements that you want on it, like maybe a temperature sensor and so on. That's actually what's in here. That's also what's in here, and I'll get to the differences between those. But bottom line is flasher.meshtastic.org is your most foolproof way on Windows to actually flash it. some of the issues you might have on Windows is like what we're having right now are when we install the Meshtastic CLI interface into Python, it errored out. We don't have time to debug it right now. But if you're on Linux and you know what you're doing, this should be no problem. Really, the next thing that we need to cover, if you could bring up the web interface so we can just kind of talk about the configuration options, and it's not tiny and on my screen. So the first thing first, like you're going to be in an app. If someone has the app and wants to come up here and show it too, but the options are the same. The first thing you want to find is you want to set your region to wherever you are in the world. It's not going to be able to transmit if you don't. So make sure you set it to US. The next part is, depending on where you're at, if you're in the city, you probably want to have 7 hops because the density, there's a lot of nodes out here. And if you exhaust 3 nodes, you're never going to be able to get to the other guy. So just go ahead and set it to 7. It's not going to break it to set it to other things. You can experiment if you want, but 7's a nice number. The default channel out there is 20. That's the default channel from the get-go. But what you really want is 51. And the reason for that is we have 3 routers in the valley area. We do have one on Nelson Peak. We have one at Point of the Mountain. And there's a planned one to put one on Black Mountain, and it covers the entire bowl out here. I even get it up north in Clearfield. So 51's the channel you want. The caveat is you need to be respectful on that channel in the sense that you need to configure your device properly, and I'm going to get into that.
Is that what's regulated? Is making sure that these configurations are set to.
They're not entirely set, but there's a community out there, and if you set the wrong router node or something, you're going to cause extra hops on the network. And then instead of the router up there where it's supposed to be, you're going to get a router down in the valley, and now suddenly everyone's traffic has to go through that router. But when that router could be on the mountain and it can see everyone, it's less hops, right? And so that was the motivation for a lot of us in the valley to change over to 51. And there's a Discord out there. It's the Meshtastic Discord, and the connection channel is called US-Utah. And there's a lot of Utah Meshtastic guys in there that talk about this stuff. You can be on channel 20 for experimenting, and that's fine. But when you get on 51, people do kind of get a little moody if you incorrectly configure your device. Because it messes with something they have actually planned out, and they've hiked up Nelson Peak. They don't want to have to redo these things. Because the only way we can change it, those routers that are on the mountain, is to climb up there and go do it. So ideally, don't make us change channels. We'll get a little moody. The other part about that is, one of the things on the network that can cause a problem is if you're forwarding MQTT traffic all the time, that can increase airspace utilization. And you'll see this in your app. I don't have it up right now, and I can't display it, unfortunately. But airspace utilization, when it gets to about 30% on the mesh, packets start getting dropped by the routers. Which means your message won't get through, and it'll be a dumb fail. You won't even know it didn't.
Did you say MQQT?
Yeah, so this option right here where it says ignore MQTT, turn that off by default unless you have absolutely have a need to use MQTT. There's nothing wrong using it, but have a need. Don't flood the network with packets you're not really using.
A lot of these settings I'm not seeing in the app.
Oh, okay.
So under the 3-bar radio configuration,
yeah. So if you go into this, I'll show everybody.
there are 3 dots.
Can everybody kind of get an idea of what I'm saying? From what seeing here? Okay. So right now he's connected to his radio. Hit the 3 bars. There's a radio configuration spot. So when it comes to ignoring MQTT, that's going to be in your lower radio menu. So in your lower radio menu, you're going to have all these options you see up here in this screen. So radio config. These are equivalent, or identical. So going through here, you have SX 12.6 X boosted gain. If your device has that particular radio, you can turn that on. And if you don't have a high gain antenna, it's going to bias you towards receiving. You may not be able to transmit as strongly, but you'll be able to pick up more. So definitely turn it on. I don't see you guys needing to broadcast over 300 miles like I did once. So definitely have more gain. The other part is that you have your TX power here. You can set it to any number above 30, but it's not going to go above 30. It's going to observe the radio regulations of the region you set, in this case US, so not above 1 watt. The frequency slot is the channel slot, so whatever channel you wish to operate on. Default, like I said, is 20, but 51 is the one in the valley. And I think I'm gonna cover the most important part, which is if you go into all your devices and you go over to the device config and role, you have several roles in here. You got client mute, router, repeater, tracker, sensor, TAC, client hidden, lost and found, and TAC tracker, right? You're probably thinking, what the heck does that mean? For all intents and purposes, if you're just keeping it on you and it's in your backpack and you're having fun with it, client mute. And the reason for it, I'm going to draw horribly the reason for it. Let's say we have 2 mountain ring. It's got a good marker.
And which menu was this under?
Under the device menu, the device config menu. So I'm just going to represent this like this. We understand that those are mountains. All right. Anyway, so say we're down in here and we're in this bowl, right? Well, if we have someone's node right here, and it's chilling out on a rooftop, and you have someone over here, and they want to talk to each other, that's no problem, right? Let's say somebody is behind this ledge, right? But you can see this guy. If you set this guy to a router, while this guy's a router, and he's a client, what ends up happening is this guy, instead of going directly to the closest router he can get, he actually has to go to the one with the highest SNR. He's not going to go up high. He's going to end up signal to noise ratio.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to end up going here, cost the hop, go up here, then he's going to come down to whatever client he has to go to. And you have a max number of 7 hops, so do you really want to do that? Probably not. Now, the reason why it gets confusing is because people think, router, oh my god, I need to set my device to that so I can route packets. Truth of the matter is, the mesh network doesn't operate that way. Client mode rebroadcasts all packets on that channel, which means it's perfectly enough for you to set it to client and be good. But if you have a lot of devices that say are indoors, well, that's not a very good place to route packets through. You have a lot of noise, you're coming through your walls, you don't have great signal, you're going to end up dropping things. So when you set something to client mute, it doesn't repeat all the packets across the network. What it does is it waits for the maximum broadcast time, and if it sees no other router, repeater, or client repeating those signals, it will then fail over and say, okay, client mute, rebroadcast this as a last-ditch effort. That's what you want to have on this mesh network, because if you get too many people sending packets, well, your airspace utilization goes up. And when you do that and you reach 30%, you drop packets needlessly. So it's very important to set the right mode. And for all of you guys that are hobbyists and playing in your house, a lot of people would really hope if you set it to client mute and not router or repeater. Now, if you do want to contribute to the network and you want to make a router, the big thing is placement. So if you go into that Meshtastic Discord server, they'll tell you where their pinch points are and what they might actually want to have on a mountain. Like for me right now, I'm probably looking at putting something on Black Mountain. Please don't go look for it.
Black Mountain, that's where exactly?
Right up there.
Longitude.
I try to disguise them because it's, once again, disclaimer, it's public lands. You need permission to put things out there. If you're not going to do it like a lot of people do, don't make it obvious like the helium guys putting a giant 2-foot box next to the trail, like right next to it. At that point, you might as well scavenge that because that's just dumb. Don't take people's property. Anyway, the thing is, if you are going to set up a router, at least make sure that it's a very high point, has very clear line of sight to more than just your place. And if you do that, you're helping the network. And we would love it if somebody did that, especially up towards the north, because we have a lot of things going down towards Provo, but we have very little going north. I'm up there, a few other 51ers are up there on channel 51, but we can't reach the valley because there's no infrastructure to get it down here. There's no repeater. I'm planning on one. The other element is if you're on the default channel and say you see a ton of 20s that are going all the way down to the city, you still can't broadcast a message down there because you'll notice on channel 20, you've got 40 routers within a 2-mile radius. And you can imagine what happens. They all just bounce it between each other. You reach your maximum number of hops and you don't successfully send a message.
Is 51 and 20 the only options?
No, you actually have 0 through 108, I believe. You have 108 channels. Depending on your spread rate and all that stuff, which I'm not going to get into for the sake of just building it right now, there's a lot of other things you can customize to give yourself more channels, to maybe coexist with a nearby channel, being adjacent to it. That's probably a topic for another day.
Can you set up like just an isolated channel for you and like a particular individual? Or?
Absolutely. You can go ahead, but realize that you can't broadcast to the rest of the network. You're tuned to that channel, just like any other radio.
You just got someone that you want to talk to, just one person. You only have one friend. He's got the other device.
Then just choose a channel that you notice nobody on. My recommendation: avoid the low numbers near 1, the numbers near 37, the numbers near 50, and the numbers near 73.
Okay.
Reason is, most humans think 37 and 73 are a pretty random number, so they'll try to choose something right next to it. And you'll notice, like if you ever pay attention to statistics on what people consider random, between 0 and 100, it's a bimodal distribution, 37, 73. Don't choose those channels, because odds are it's not going to be very private, and there's going to be someone else on it, and you know, that jazz. So, past that, there's a few other things you got to know. It does broadcast your location to the map in the app. If you don't want your docs your home, you can use an imprecise location, and you can tell it, I want an imprecise location of 1.8 miles, right?
Is that even for routers? Like setting
That's for everybody.
Like everything.
Yes.
So we can actually find your router. Like
You absolutely could if I actually turn that on. I know, others can find it. I'm very well aware of the limitations there. So,
what are some securities that you can set in place?
some of the securities you can set in place is not being on the public channel. The public channel is long, fast, or whatever your mode is, and the default key is AQ equals equals. If you don't have that chat room in your list of devices or in your app, you won't rebroadcast that channel. And then the other thing that you can do is you can go into device. Unfortunately, this is locked. You just change that. If someone kills you, you just take the there are a few settings you can set in channels to configure it properly to make sure that you only want to broadcast the one you know, the one you have configured. You don't want to waste battery power on rebroadcasting the whole network, right? So you have configured channels. Good to know. You have configured channels. Good to know.
Set a few up.
So, in the very
Is
same
message
place,
encryption or anything like that?
there is message encryption. You have to have the same keys, and you have to have the same known chat room. And the nice thing about that is you can share it with each other with a QR code. Right, so when you add a channel, if you both have it on your phones and you're connected to your radio, all someone has to do is share that channel, and then someone just takes a picture of it, and you have the keys. They're shared.
Is that what you guys did?
Not
No,
tonight.
not like right now, but like in the Discord channel, there's a QR code.
The DC801.
So, the DC801.
Yeah.
I need to get that
Windows
on.
posted it.
Is that what that is?
Voice text.
Yeah, so there
Okay.
is a DC801 channel. I've yet to put mine on it, but in your device config, back to the original question real quick. You have a rebroadcast mode, and your options are all skip decoding, local only, known only, and none. All means all networks. All skip decoding might seem tempting to set, but it's only available in repeater mode. Repeater mode's dumb. It'll rebroadcast everything. It won't even look at the packet. It'll just take it in, pipe it back out. That's what skip decoding means, and it's only available in that mode. So don't set it to that.
Why would someone put it on that kind of mode?
Well, if you don't want the kind of control over the device of what it's repeating, and you don't have a power budget like operating in solar and battery power, then maybe you really do just want to help everybody get across a mountain range. So you might put a repeater up instead of a router. A router's a bit smarter and offers you more control.
So the repeater doesn't repeat what you're trying to repeat. It's basically like the echo thing where anything that comes through it is just gonna bounce?
Anything that comes through is going to come
Okay.
in, it's going to see that, it's going to take it out holistically, not even decode it, and it's going to retransmit it. And that's all that's going to happen. It's like you guys were probably grew up in the time where you had Wi-Fi range extenders and you were operating on it and half your bandwidth's there. Well, it's kind of the same concept, right?
Okay.
If you do end up saying all skip decoding, it does force your device back into repeater mode, which might make some people moody, so don't set that. You have local only. Now, local only means I'm only going to rebroadcast the packets of my 0-hop neighbors. So whoever's next to me, I'll gladly rebroadcast what they have if they don't have the best range to get out somewhere. And that's why you might set it to local only. The other option you have is known only. And the way Meshtastic handles known only is the device has stored every single channel that you know. It has a public channel, it has whatever you define it as, what your one friend might have. And what it will do is your device will decode the packet. It'll see that, hey, I don't know what this channel is in this packet, so I'm not going to rebroadcast that. I'm just going to broadcast what I know. That's a good power saving measure if you're only talking between friends. Personally, I've put some routers up in really strategic places around the valley, so have a few other people in the Meshtastic server. I keep it on rebroadcast all. I feel like being polite and helping everybody out, but you don't have to. So don't feel
That's the
obligated.
purpose use for those devices.
Yeah, exactly. You can also set a POSIX time zone in there if you care about having your time correct. Your GPS pulls your time for you. So as long as you got the right time zone in there, you should be able to have accurate time on the device when you send telemetry back to yourself. A couple other security options you may want to set, like this guy. If you're going to set up a node that's remote, don't keep Bluetooth on. That's a bad idea, especially on the screen sticking out the front, they get to see the pin. If you want it to be a secure node, don't broadcast it over Bluetooth and let anybody get into it, right? I'm trying to think of any other security settings I would think of.
How does this is an ignorant question because I don't know about any
No,
of
any
this.
question's fine.
How are you going to communicate with that thing? Like, for example, just
This guy?
yeah.
So this guy is actually going to be, like, the second example, this one right here, autonomous. It's going to be a client, and it's just going to take everything that everybody's configured on down in here, and it's going to rebroadcast that out to the net, right? So, Robbie, to ask your question, to answer your question a little bit better, let's look at a sample topology of transmitters, right? I'm going to represent physical height vertically. So, say we got, I don't know, on top of the building, and bunch, right? You got a lot of people there. Let's say you got a bunch in a building, you got one up here, right? And then you have a bunch in here. Each of these devices needs to be configured properly for this mesh to work. So obviously these guys up here need to be a router or a repeater, right? So say you want to talk to your friend through this device, but you're indoors and you're on another device, but you want it to go through this. Well, say you're in this building, for example. That's a great example. This guy should be a client. These guys should be client mute. Or, if you really want to be sleepy, but you're not going to rebroadcast anything, you're going to be just as quiet as you possibly can be, you can actually choose the option client hidden. Client hidden means you don't rebroadcast anything. You only talk to the network when you absolutely need to send out a message. That's it. You don't broadcast your location. You don't show up on a map. People aren't going to know you're there. They're not going to know your handle's out there. So that's the caveat of client hidden. So you made this guy a client. If you're in a central location and you notice there's a lot of client mutes around you, you got a nice high spot with a nice antenna, do all these guys a favor and be the client. Because what's going to happen is all of these guys are going to want to talk to that client, to talk to this guy, to maybe talk to to this guy, and then come down into this client and talk to any of these guys, right? But you don't want it to be a situation where you're all clients, and now you're just bouncing around like this. You just look like a bouncing ball with infinite energy between walls. It's not going to work out. So I hope I've driven home why you should probably just be client mute out of the get-go. The reason I'm being pedantic about it is a lot of us who operate Meshtastic in the Valley literally had to go change all our transmitters because nobody wanted to observe this rule. And what ended up happening is none of us could talk to each other reliably anymore. Now, the other settings you probably should be aware of is density increases. Say you're in a big city like Los Angeles. Long fast isn't going to work out. The maximum potential nodes you can have on long fast is 100 nodes. If you have 600 nodes in a city, odds are you need to go up to another channel like medium fast or short fast. And what that does is it controls two things. It controls the number of nodes you can see, and then it controls just how long you wait in an airtime window for messages. So if you want to go long range, it's going to take longer for that message to go there and come back and be acknowledged. In order for that to happen, you need to wait longer. So long fast actually has a longer window to which all the nodes wait after rebroadcasting a message before telling them, hey, I didn't reach through this node, and then you'll see this in your app. If that ends up happening, you've exhausted all tries to get to a client. You get a little cloud symbol that has an X on it instead of a check mark. Odds are if you're getting a lot of those, you probably should look at your map and see if there's people maybe not observing that rule.
Where do you see the cloud thingy?
It's going to be right in the... It marked again.
Is it in the app?
Come on, cut your thumb off.
Me too.
And then follow up, what are we gonna set hours to? Like for today's, like
For today,
lesson?
absolutely set it to client mute. You're in a concrete cinder block building. Please don't make everybody route their packets through you right now. Not a fun time. So in the app, we have a map that's available. It's your center choice right here. You won't see this unless you're in the app, or unless you have a web interface that supports seeing it like you had up earlier, right? So if you zoom into where we're at, he's on channel 20 right now, and you see exactly why we left this channel. There are 3 routers up here by the university, set as routers. Federal Heights is one of them. We ended up bouncing through there and exhausting all our tries to talk to each other. So don't do that. When you're making your hobbyist devices, unless you have a reason to change from this, be client or client mute. Okay, everybody understands that. Cool. If I see any of you on routers, I'm coming to find you. Like, I know where you're at. Yeah.
When you're looking at that map, how do you know which channel you're on, or like?
So if you want to configure the channel from the app, right now we're on 20, the channel we need.
Did I ask the question right?
Yeah. So we have radio configuration. So we have the 3 dots that are on the right side of the app. Go into LoRa. So this is going to have your radio configuration. Go into frequency slot. And this is how you're going to change the number of channel you're on. In fact, I'm just going to put this one on 51 real quick. And so once you're done putting that in 51, hit enter. Go ahead and send that to the device. It's going to say error disconnected. The radio is rebooting. And then once it's back up, you're going to be able to talk on channel 51. Sorry, bud, you'll have to set that back to normal.
It's just that simple to change channels.
It's just that simple. It's not
In the app.
Awesome.
The app is actually the easiest way to do a lot of things. What I would suggest is if you have a client, if you have a device that is a S3 device right now, don't run any firmware below 2.5.9. Should probably write that down. There's an issue where neighborhood info or neighbor info isn't being broadcast correctly because they're trying to broadcast it over MQTT. A lot of us have that on ignore, ends up not coming out. So keep that in mind. And then the other element to keep in mind is, I guess it must not have been important, I forgot. I'm just going to open it up to questions though. I could talk all day about how you could configure it.
So many questions.
Well, go ahead. I'm here to answer them until about 8:45, and then I gotta run off to my bike ride. So, who has a device that needs help configuring?
I was wondering, there was talk that there were devices available to purchase. Is that?
We ran out, so we can order more.
There isn't. I think we're trying to get an interest list together.
Yes, we are going to get an interest
Let me
list
go
together.
get Fred real quick. I think he was the one mentioning it.
Yeah.
I'll go get Fred.
And what's the relation to ham radio with this? Is it sort of similar? Or?
If you operate in the ham license mode on Meshtastic, you are no longer permitted to
And I know you
use
explained this. I'm
all
sorry.
amateur radio connections must be open and clear for
Did
public
you
use.
like get this on like Amazon or something
But
as a
you
kid?
don't want to operate that way. You want to limit yourself to one block.
I think this was a kid with the battery
Yeah,
assembly.
my one friend, the only friend that I have.
The antenna, this,
Yeah.
and then you get the app on your
It
phone.
has nothing to do with it at that point. You're the ISM band, you're operating in the industrial band. So I'll show the one where the
Because you got
He's got more solar
If you were like on a tropical island with no nodes,
So I
Okay.
don't
you could have all
understand
the client, it would all be fine, not huge.
that. I bought a battery separately.
depends. If you have a high density, say for some
This is
reason,
a kid.
you put
Technically, you don't even need the battery, just connect to direct power, but
because you don't want them rebroadcasting. And once the client
Yeah.
wasn't able to
So routers, Reddit is for something like that.
Hey, yeah.
Really cool. So
He hung on that. I had the one before him.
So
I got one of the sets last week.
That's insane.
I want to configure this somehow, but that's not very hardware.
No, this is, I think it's running off an ESP32, technically, but it's its own like little
It's
version.
gonna have to be a flex
And
thing.
then I just popped it out this route, it didn't start that. And
It's big.
then I just
Point their antennas towards each other. 312 miles is trivial. You go farther, but curvature.
like powered by solar, and then also it detects if it's too dark, then it'll automatically turn on.
And that would be
I need a hot weather.
great. That would be so good. I'm not gonna.
Between all of us, we could figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, usually when I'm just hanging out like this, he jumps up, he puts one right here, his foot here, and he's
So I for sure want to get one.
He's
You want to
gonna be
Because
Is he going to be
some
such
people don't realize
Yeah,
how
of course.
Yeah, I think
He's going there
I was
to learn.
checking the
He's
We
going there to study
documentation.
and
Somebody's
network.
like a respirator.
And he's a smart doggy.
there's nothing we can do.
I took him to a certain class. And he
When are you getting more
started,
kits?
let's say
So if we order them now, they'd be around here in 3 weeks. But they are cheaper if you get it through us because we're selling them for like $20. But the Laura itself is like $20. So yeah. So with us, you basically get battery, Laura, and radio,
let's see if yours
and a little solar panel with it. So.
This
This is what it looks like.
What's going on?
Do you know if there's gonna be instructions for those that need them?
Yeah, so I do have a bunch of extras, and like the problem I'm coming up with is I think because this is Windows, it's just not working out. I tried flashing it. So this is what it looks like.
For Sharon, just like getting set up and like,
Yeah, this is one version.
Like, here's some things you should.
The other versions, I think the rack is even lower energy.
I'll definitely go into more advanced stuff.
disconnect
It's
this.
just, I think it would help you if you already know how to set it up. You kind of had some familiarity.
He's a very, very spoiled boy.
And the firmware
Then
is
you
already
know
on
what the heck I'm talking about. And now you're probably like, that sounds cool.
You actually have to flash it, and that's where I'm having issues.
People are like, is he in training? I'm like, no, he's just very spoiled. Say hi, baby.
It's actually right here.
And for other, like
Okay.
US, EU, or Annalise.
And so that's, I always got to say how
I'll pull it up.
I'm like, he's a
The Meshtastic
set
community
up
has
some
actually made a
things.
lot of that, and it's on their website. So let me go ahead and pull it up in their documentation.
He's being so antisocial.
I just want to figure out why I can't flash
When
the
he
thing.
does something great, and I
We can get around that.
Did you
All right, so obviously the website has a whole getting started deal, but let's talk about hardware. So one of the things that I hate about when you buy these things, where's the one that had
That one?
this little guy, this little stubby right here? throw it away. It's freaking trashy. And we've proved it so many times on the Meshtastic forums and on the Meshtastic website. It's so crappy, it's earned a special place about us telling you don't run it. So if you go here, we got all the antenna testing, and we kind of have some community favorites, of course in the Discord. Depending on the kind of setup you want to have. Do you want to have it in the car? Do you want to have it as a base station or repeater? Do you just want a normal client? Do you want to spend $600 on an antenna? Please don't do that. Don't do that. Unless you're setting up something pro on Farnsworth Peak, don't buy a $200 antenna. The gain is not worth it because they have a trade-off in gain. So this guy right here, if you have a higher gain antenna, you've just limited your beam, right? Gain is obviously, like, if you're perfectly isotropic, what that means is you broadcast in all directions, 360 degrees, same magnitude gain, same magnitude transmit, then you can do it 360 degrees. We actually call that a perfectly isotropic antenna. They do not exist. So as you go up in gain, this guy right here, it's an 8 dB antenna. It means I probably have about a beam width of about 37 degrees. So from the center of the dipole, this is where your vertex of that 37 degree angle comes out of. All right, it's not perfect. The lobes are different as you go all the way around the antenna. But the higher and higher you go, the less omnidirectional you become, and the more directional you become. So if you're going to do something like this, like I did, you want to be on top of a building because you have a lot of vertical space here and you're vertically polarized, so you can talk to a lot of things that are up and down, but not a lot of things that are too far out of your horizontal field of view. So everything's a trade-off in radio. You don't get free lunches. It just doesn't happen. What I would recommend is what's on my automotive node here. So this is a rack. I've built it. I had a little enclosure. We put a nice solar panel on it so I don't have to drain my car battery. This antenna right here can be bought on Amazon, and they actually have a link here. It is the... Okay, they took the link away. I have no idea why. I'll figure that out later. Anyways, it's a good idea to consult what antennas they recommend because there's something called VSWR, voltage standing wave ratio, on the line here. And that's how much, after you reach steady state, how much voltage is getting reflected back into your radio. It's a ratio of how much you've transmitted. So let's say like this guy right here. This guy has a VSWR of about 1.1 to 1. It's professionally designed, it's really well matched. Just like I was mentioning earlier, you have, like if you look at these lights, and they have, just picture it as like rays. Some of them are reflecting. It's the same concept every time you have a discontinuity in a circuit. That's why it's important to have a well-matched antenna so you're not reflecting all of your power back into your transmitter and burning it out. So that's what will happen. It'll go in, reflect back, bounce into the transmitter. Transmitter's not expecting it. Slowly over time, the heat will just degrade your transmitter. The other thing that you might want to look at, because they have testing reports, and I can go into them, but they basically tell you your general guidance here. They completely lay it out. Several of us in the community have vetted this page to make sure there's no errors. So I would go there. There's people that are even smarter than I am on this page writing those things, especially some of the ham guys. There's quite a bit here. I would recommend just going through this page and then designing your own node, right? And don't be intimidated. They're pretty easy to put together. They're very self-limiting. And like I said, if you want something all-in-one, you don't really want to screw around with that part, but you want to be involved in Meshtastic, I would highly recommend this guy. Rack, Meshtastic kit. The WizMesh Pocket. This guy right here. Please don't use that stubby antenna. Once again, don't use the stupid antenna. It has a VSWR of 10 to 1 that tells you anything about it. $99, you don't have to do the work yourself. But I realize that a lot of us are makers and you probably want to do that work yourself. So what you can actually end up doing is you can go to their Meshtastic site, on their Meshtastic products, and here you go. You've got a starter kit. Personally, I like the starter kit a hell of a lot better than the Heltex. The battery life is a lot better. I mean, I get 3 days without solar with the rack. I tried Heltec. Can anybody guess how much battery life I got without solar?
6 hours.
He's got it. It's about 6 hours. Are we okay over here?
It's gonna explode. It's heating up the room, that's nice.
Rackwireless.com. Store.rackwireless.com.
Yeah, it's the tower. Like, that's not my computer.
Bread and butter solar
Yeah,
panel.
is that what it sounds like on the screen?
They're absolutely the lowest power. You're going to have the best luck with them. They have the best firmware.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of people developing.
Today we had a
How long does it
fly
take
in the house.
solar power? Like, say if it was dead,
Yes, it was
how long would it take to
like,
charge?
apparently one of my dogs tried to eat
Depends on your
it.
size of battery.
Spit
This
it
guy,
out.
I can put about 150 milliamps in with good solar, but I have a 3,800 milliamp hour battery. You do the math there. It's going to take about 30 hours.
Has another benefit.
So it's never going to reach full if it drains.
I swear.
That's okay.
I was like,
Don't drain.
yeah.
Like design yourselves in some reserve capacity in case something goes wrong. You're still going to come up to at least over 50% within 1 day of solar. The other caveat is now you're operating within the restricted power envelope, right? So you can't just run GPS all the time. It sucks 40 milliamp hours all the time. So turn GPS off if you're going to have a solar panel node, or turn it on rarely, 5 to 10 minutes. You don't need updates that often.
So doesn't the solar power continuously power it? Or does it like
It's
power it
variable.
and then, oh.
It depends on your sunlight, depends on the size of your battery, your MPTT chip. That will actually determine how much output you can do. On these boards, it's about 150 milliamps. On other boards, or if you make your own, you can design it to the spec you want. But once again, that's up to you wanting to spin your own PCB for your own MPTT solar charger. I decided not to do that. I've done it before. It's not very exciting. So if you want to get excited and do it, definitely do it. Just realize, like all electronics, you're going to be debugging for a while, and I think that's the fun part. But after you've done it a couple times, you kind of just don't want to go through that. But yeah, so good antennas, good configurations, and you can talk to each other. This is going to go on the roof, and it's going to be at channel 51. So if you're here in the valley and you want to talk on channel 51 in the DC801 channel, once this sucker's on the roof, probably like Monday or Tuesday next week, not that today. We had some issues. And you can all talk to each other because we got high central nodes for clients, and we have mountaintop routers. So everyone can talk to each other. You might have some failed messages here and there. It's just going to happen. Just reset. I think a lot of people are probably a lot more curious about this sucker sitting on the table and not going into it. So let's talk about it a bit. So what I've done here, since I know it's going to go on the roof and we don't really want to set the building on fire if lightning strikes it, I'd rather this box melt. That's a lot cheaper than the building being on fire. So what we've done is I've got a professional lightning arrestor on the RF line. And unfortunately, I don't have my graphs with me, but I went ahead and hooked that up to a VNA. In fact, I do have the VNA, so let me go get it and I'll show you. It's a cool device. You want to know how to characterize an RF line. This is what
Out of the country, they sue so infrequently. When they do,
It's so cool. I'm talking about the front
Anybody know what time it is?
had the lawnmower.
Cool, I got 10 minutes.
It was so cool. And so I sat down and I was like, oh, is this? And he's like, yeah. I was like, so cool.
I'm gonna stop the recording.
Alright guys.
Hey, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're